All right, get out of here. Get out of here. Enough of you.
My show now.
What's going on, guys? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Hell of a debut today, huh? Summer League. Woo-hoo-hoo. Miami Heat smoked the Lakers 107-90, but like the debut of Jaime Jaquez Jr. My God, this dude, I mean, he had it all going for him today. He was dunking on everybody's head. He was getting into the paint, doing those Jimmy Butler-esque moves. Beautiful mustache, the lion mane as it was going. Oh, it was flowing beautifully for Jaime Jaquez Jr. Then he started getting the stroke going after a slow start to things. He had it from downtown, ripping the net. Just picturesque from the Heat's 18th overall pick. And then, dude, Jović. Whew. See, this is where I get in my feelings, man. This is where, like, I'm mad at Cronin because, I told you, you didn't make that trade at the end of business. Assets start getting taken off the table. And now all of a sudden, I don't want to trade. I don't want to let Jović walk out that door because that dude was efficient today. He was in the paint. He had 21 points, 8 rebounds, had 3 dimes out there, got to the line a bunch of times today. I mean, he was living in the paint today, dude. What a performance it was today from Nikola. He was just, unbelievable. Gets that Euro step going from nearly the 3-point line. They didn't know how to corral him, dude. I mean, you could just notice the muscles on that kid. And I got to tell you, Jaime Jović, Jaquez Jović, nice chemistry together. Dare I say Bam Duncan Robinson-esque. I mean, they just seem to find each other. They just seem to have something with one another today and really just getting things going. It was a beautiful thing. I like seeing it. I love the fact that Caron Butler is coaching this team. Caron, who had a big hand in a lot of, he wasn't Jovic's go-to coach during the season, but always in communication with the young fella. And I do think that noticeable early in this, I do feel like Jović was definitely had like a command to him. Like he was the guy commanding the most attention from the Lakers defense. He was kind of leading the charge on things. If things got into him, he was gravitating a lot of attention to kick out the shots. Really was a great performance from Nico today. And I don't know if you're the it's tough to know, like, you're looking at this, are these going to be developmental games? Are these showcases for Portland? Whatever it is, those guys showed out. I mean, they were absolutely fantastic. And I do think that Nico is showing himself, if he is going to be on this Heat roster this year, that he can contribute right away. And then Jaime, I think the things that you love about him is it just seems like the ball finds him, and it's it's energy, dude. That whole karma of the game that Spo talks about. Like, he had the one kick out to Bouye off to the corner, then found him back for the dunk. He was dunking on everybody today. Jaime Jaquez, dude, was putting on a dunk show, quite frankly. And that really was a fun summer league debut amongst all this Damian Lillard stuff. Now, I will say, I did see Damian Lillard go on IG Live in his boxing ring, and it's a man after my heart. He's not only an awesome basketball player, but he loves one of my favorite sports in the sweet science. And so, it's tough. It's a man who's playing on emotions here, man. I got a lot of things going in my head, but a couple other things to mention from this game. Orlando Robinson, he hit a couple from downtown today, so he's added that element to his game. And I like the fact that they are going in a different direction with their young big. I thought Orlando Robinson was fantastic this year in the injury of Omer Yurtseven. I thought that the guy showed soft hands. I thought he played with he just plays with that balls to the wall energy that the Heat seem to love. And now you add on top of it that he could stretch the floor a little bit, or they're going to try and get him to stretch the floor a little bit. Maybe let him play on the floor with Bam a little bit. I mean, that was the idea. They wanted to try and do that with Yurt this year. So I love that. He had a nice game, 13 points, 8 rebounds. So pretty good stuff from Lando today. And Jamari Bouye, I mean, just great energy. He just plays with an explosiveness. Finished the game with a monster jam today. 9 assists, so he's getting everybody involved. He's got one of those two-way contracts for this team. Drew Smith has the other. It really was a fun effort. If you were tuning in for your first Heat Summer League action, you're seeing the way that it goes. But obviously, last year's first-round pick, this year's first-round pick, as you would want in an organization, those were the 2 stars. And I think to the tune of, look, everybody was sitting here today on the internet once again, taking a big dump on the Miami Heat's assets. These blowhards from the Ringer. They're shills. I don't know what to tell you. They're sitting here and they're talking up Boston's assets and have the audacity to put Malcolm Brogdon out there like he's some key piece, which I keep coming back to. The guy was already sent back in a trade because he has a medical red flag, and his entire career is basically a medical red flag. And to put him at his age and his injury history ahead of Tyler Herro is pretty laughable. Then you add on top of it Robert Williams, who is also a medical red flag, and acting like, yeah, look, Robert Williams is a nice player. He definitely wasn't as good as he was the year before. He wasn't that good this year, as good this year. So to act like he's some blue, they throw it out there like they got these blue chippers. And even with Tyrese Maxey, everybody's doing this with if Tyrese Maxey was in the dude, give Tyrese Maxey $130 million, which you're probably gonna have to give him more than that next year, and then see how attractive his deal looks. Everyone's gonna be there and be like, oh my God, Tyrese Maxey, he's God's gift. Tyrese Maxey's a nice player. Don't get me wrong. Tyrese Maxey is one of the fastest players in the league. But we're going to sit here and we're going to act like, oh my God, Tyrese Maxey's like way above Tyler Herro as far as talent's concerned. Let's not get crazy. Contract's way better because you haven't paid him yet and they're not extending him. So maybe it's an easier pill to swallow. But I just found a lot of this stuff laughable today. That just the complete change of face everybody's been with. Like I saw some opinion today from Chris Broussard where he was like, well, the Portland Trailblazers should be allowed to send him wherever they want. They've paid him over $400 million, which, look, I don't like that argument on its front because, like, NBA, everybody makes a ton of money. But there'll be some people I'll hear that argument with. Like, I thought that would have been a fine argument for the Kevin Durant thing. Let's say you want to make the money argument. Be like, hey, you know what, Kevin Durant paid your ass a max salary on a torn Achilles. Not a guaranteed injury to come back from. And we still paid you a max contract. I'd be like, you know what? That's a good point. But you're going to sit here and act like Damian Lillard hasn't earned every damn cent that he goes out there and plays and earns. And I was like, what kind of argument is that? It's a first of all, it's a salary cap sport. There's a max salary. He's a superstar. He's one of the biggest superstars in the league. Been one of the biggest superstars in this league since he's walked in the league. And you're telling me he hasn't been worth every dime that the Portland Trailblazers have paid him? I think it's a stupid argument to begin with, but like of all the people you're going to argue that about, Damian Lillard is the guy you're going to make a money argument about. Pretty wild. I honestly don't even love the argument for Tyler Herro. Tyler Herro right now, he was on Instagram. And, you could probably see this coming, but it seems like Tyler Herro is starting to do some lashing out on Instagram. If this is a lyric, excuse me, I'm not hip, so I don't know. But he says, have you ever had your heroes sit down and give you the guide? Have you ever spoken something into existence? Or do you just talk about other people's lives? Stop giving me advice. And he posts this with, there's a bunch of pictures, but the one that finishes off is a thumbs up with a middle finger emoji, which is funny. And then there are just a lot of black and white photos. One of them is him giving the deuces out of a car. So I don't know if that's him saying goodbye. I'm being super boots on the gram about this, super cryptic. Let's see. And then there's a lot of him in the offseason working out. Looking pretty jacked, I got to say, Tyler Herro. Although he is the king of that in the summer of looking like he's put on a ton of muscle. And let's see. Now, we'll say a lot of his teammates did like the post on Instagram. But, yeah, I think that this is I do think that they're at a point with Tyler Herro where if you don't deal him at this point, I do think that's going to be a tough bridge. I don't think it's impossible. And again, I could be, a dick fan about this and be like, "Ooh, Tyler Herro, you got your extension. Like, don't be so in your feelings." But no, I get it, dude. I get why Tyler Herro's had to hear this ever since he's walked out of the NBA Finals in his rookie year, basically, is that, we're going to trade him for Harden. We're going to trade him for Kevin Durant. Guilty, dude. I've been in these talks, done these shows. I could see being fed up with that. If I'm 23 years old, I'm starting this extension. I want to find my home. The other thing is Tyler Herro is, he's 23 with 2 babies, and wants to kind of settle his family down, not have to have so much. You have kids that young, at that young an age. Yes, you have millions of dollars. I understand that's always the qualifier on everybody, but you have those young kids at this stage in your life, which is very, very young. I didn't even have one kid at his age. I just was about to have my first kid. He's got 2 kids at that age. I'm sure that's very stressful. Not knowing where you're going to live, not knowing where they're going to live, where everybody's going to be, where everybody's going to be settled. All this stuff is very, very stressful, I'm sure. And especially with the idea that, you haven't been a bad player for the Miami Heat. He's been a very good player for the Miami Heat. And I do think that I don't know if this is a direction at the Heat. I don't know if this is a direction at the haters. I don't know if this is a direction at, all of NBA Twitter that's taking a dump on him. I don't know what it is. But it's natural to kind of have an FU mentality at this. I kind of mentioned this with Duncan Robinson this year, where Duncan Robinson, he kind of played with a more FU mentality this year in the playoffs, and I liked it. But I'm sure it had a little bit at everybody. I'm sure it had a little bit at the fan base, the doubters. I'm sure it had a little bit at the Heat and the coaching staff for taking him out of the rotation. Whatever it was, like, it was a guy who played with a different edge. I don't think Tyler Herro's a guy that needs to find that edge, but I do think that he's a guy that's probably tired of feeling like he has to prove his worth, right? Now, on the business side of it, the Heat kind of rewarded him last year with it to give him the extension. Like, after dealing with all the Kevin Durant stuff, their response to that was, here's $130 million guaranteed. But okay, that was the present last year. Now it's like, okay, well, are you going to keep me here for the extension or not? So that's where that's at right now. I don't know. And I don't know where this is going to end up. I mean, I think it's going to end up with Tyler Herro probably on another team. But to see this stuff on social media, that there's a little bit of whatever. And if it's a lyric or whatever, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not cool like that, dude. But even if it's not, even if it is somebody else's words, mean words that he's putting out there, certainly there's, like, you could see why those are what he's putting up. And what he's trying to get out there is, like, he's tired of hearing, I think, all these chatter about him and everybody giving their thoughts on him, and he wants to just go show what he can do. And so I think that's an interesting thing to check out, to see to where things go with these next few days and how things shake out with the Blazers and the Heat's talk. There's talks that this could go weeks. The reports today from the non-Bostonians, like Shams I believe Shams was on his TV show today, and he said the only place, it's been reiterated, the only place that he wants to go, Damian Lillard only wants to play for the Miami Heat. I'm told there are 3 or 4 scenarios in a deal that the Heat had that would potentially net the Blazers, several first round picks, which, is probably exactly what they want. And so we'll see how long it takes for all this stuff to kind of settle. But in the meanwhile, Jović and Jaquez, dude, so good.